How's it going, everyone? It's Savi from Weather SpongeBob. Now, today is May 28th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the potentially major severe weather that will impact Texas as well as other states in the South United States for today, as well as a potentially major flood threat that will impact the same areas in the southern United States as well as the Northeast as well. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather records. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather records. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar, and we're right around 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you see that we do see, of course, a large area of rain throughout the Northeast, which extends as far south as Ohio Valley, where we're even seeing some thunderstorm activity occur, especially on the southern side, where dew points are a little bit higher, where we're seeing a little bit more unstable air in this region, a little bit more destabilization. There isn't a ton of destabilization occurring like what's happening in Texas because for the most part, a lot of the southern United States is cloudy, but there's just enough to where we're seeing some thunderstorm activity. However, this thunderstorm activity isn't considered severe, and it likely won't be considered severe for the rest of the day, mainly because there isn't going to be enough destabilization within this air mass to allow for severe thunderstorms to occur, since there isn't such a crazy amount of instability in this region. If we were to take a look at the current temperatures, you see that while we do see a pretty stark contrast right around this region, it isn't really enough to create a severe thunderstorm threat, since a lot of these thunderstorms are are a little bit too far north, and like in the areas where it's 80 degrees, it's still relatively far from that like cool warm and cool line right around this region, where we're seeing that stark contrast from temperatures in the 60s all the way down to the 50s and even 40s in some areas in the Midwest at this point. So there isn't just enough unstable air to make it a crazy severe weather threat, but there's certainly still that slight possibility, but more likely than not, you won't see severe weather right around the mid-Atlantic for today. But you see, outside of the severe weather, we're obviously keeping track of this large area of rain, which is concerning because when we see an area of rain this large, that could raise concern of some flooding because it is a large area of rain. That means it's going to be a longer duration event when it comes to rainfall, and that's certainly expected in the Northeast, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But outside of the rain that's in the Northeast, we're also keeping track of supercell thunderstorms that could develop right around Texas as a result of an unstable atmosphere, as the dew points are very high in this area, and CAPE levels are expected to reach very at high levels for today. If we were to take a look at the forecast, we do see the reds and the even purple at times develop right around southern Texas, where we're seeing CAPE levels between 3,000 and 4,000 joules per kilogram, which is quite a lot of convective available potential energy in the atmosphere, and that will certainly fuel convection for today all throughout Texas, as the temperatures will be just warm enough and the dew points will be just high enough for rapid convection to occur and just very buoyant air molecules in this region. So there should be a very large hail threat throughout Texas for today because the lift in the atmosphere is just going to be very strong today. And of course, damaging winds and tornadoes are certainly possible as well, associated with this surface low that's located right around New Mexico. So as a result, you should expect thunderstorm activity all throughout Texas, and it should be severe as a result of that. If we were to take a look at the current temperatures right now to see where that unstable air exactly is, you see that the 60 to 50 degree temperatures are not very far from the 80 degree temperatures you see in southern Texas, which is one of the primary reasons why there's going to be severe thunderstorm activity. There's just going to be a lot of lift in the atmosphere induced by this cold air, thanks to a strong northerly wind component we're seeing on the backside of this low pressure system that's moving into the Northeast right now. And we're going to see a continuous pattern and an influx of low pressure systems move further southward throughout the week. If we were to take a look at the GFS model, you see that thanks to this the pressure gradient between this low pressure system and this ridge, we're seeing a strong northerly flow that's bringing that colder air into the Midwest, and it's dipping that jet stream down. So the jet stream winds are facing more or less right around from the north, and that's gonna bring a lot of these low pressure systems that are currently located in southeastern Canada further southward and into the heart of Texas, and that certainly will raise a concern of flash flooding, more severe weather threats in Texas, and of course even river flooding throughout Texas. That where we're just going to see a long duration rain event, because you see for today supercell thunderstorms are expected to develop 18 hours from now, and then we see on the backside there's going to be another low pressure system that's going to move down along with the upper level winds in the atmosphere and that's going to bring a more unstable air in this region as this low pressure system encounters the very warm temperatures located through Texas, and it's going to inherit some cold air or just enough cold air to induce a heavy rain threat, and it's going to linger over a long period, because the thing is, during the summer typically a lot of troughs move a lot slower because there isn't enough unstable air to really push a lot of these troughs further to the east like they should go. Since there isn't as much cold air interacting with the warm air during the summer, that means that the winds are typically a lot slower. So as a result, the troughs moves a lot slower in the summer, and that's expected to be the case with this trough, where we're going to see it linger over the same area around eastern Texas and just bring a lot of rain and potentially even more severe weather in the coming days. And that's certainly a concern. While it might be good news for portions of eastern Texas, because you guys have been experiencing drought conditions for the past several months, there comes a point where it's going to be too much rain and it could bring some flooding, and that's certainly a concern for me over the next several days, and it should be your concern throughout Texas, since we're expected to see more severe weather as a result of an influx of troughs moving into southern Texas, including the one we're expected to experience right now. And of course, the Cape, like I showed you, the Cape levels are going to be more than enough to fuel thunderstorm activity. And in terms of the wind shear, taking a closer look at that, let's take a look. Let me choose another area because it wasn't working in that specific area. But you see that, look at that extreme change in wind direction when you go with height, because if you go right around the lower levels of the atmosphere, the winds are primarily coming from the southeast. But if you move even to slightly above into closer to mid levels to even the slightly lower levels of the atmosphere, we do see a strong shift in wind direction, and that certainly raises a concern of tornadoes when we're seeing wind shear this strong, and and it pretty much gives evidence that we're going to see very strong supercell thunderstorms associated with these thunderstorms, thanks to how much wind shear is located in that region. So there's certainly something to watch over the next several days. Taking a look again at the winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we do see again a very strong shift in thunderstorm activity. In the wind direction with height. So it's certainly giving evidence of strong wind shear, and that certainly should raise the chance of tornadic activity for today. If we were to take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center is forecasting when it comes to severe weather, we do see an enhanced risk right around this area, where the dew points will be the highest, where the Cape levels will be the highest, and where the wind shear will be the strongest to support supercell thunderstorms, and slight just outside of that, but pretty much a slight risk pretty much means moderate risk. And we do see that risk does diminish as you go further out, where the unstable air is clearly less noticeable. But you see in this area, you should expect very large hail, as large hail will be a pretty big factor. Will be the you could argue the primary impact with these thunderstorms, because the lift is going to be so strong to support just very large hailstorms associated with these supercell thunderstorms. Of course, damaging winds will be the issue, and along with tornadoes, thanks to the stronger than average wind shear throughout within these thunderstorms. So keep that in mind throughout Texas, that you should experience a severe weather threat for today, and even in going into the days further, there's still a risk of severe weather. It does decrease tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center wants to increase this chance, because once we get closer, once the computer models get more confident, it's typical to see storm risk rise. And even day 3, the severe thunderstorms still linger around Texas, as this is going to be a long duration event when it comes to thunderstorm activity. And that means that we're going to see just a lot of rain, not only in Texas, but for the Northeast for today. But taking a look at Texas, we do see areas over the next 5 days receiving close to 5 inches of rain, thanks to the influx of low pressure systems moving through. And this is certainly concerning. You need to pay close attention to this if you live nearby a river or any sort of creek that has the chance of that could flood. That could be prone to flash flooding, so keep that in mind if you're right around those areas. And even in the Northeast, we do see rain, especially on the extreme eastern portions of the Northeast, be heavy at times, where you could see 3 to 5 inches of rain in the extreme coastal regions, and I'd say 1 to 3 just outside of it, but it's still enough in some areas to cause some flooding, so keep that in mind. Throughout the Northeast, there's also a flash flood risk, where we do see a slight risk of flash flooding in the heart of Texas, so keep that in mind as well, as this is expected to be a long duration event for Texas and just a lot of hail, damaging winds. So make sure to prepare, guys, and I want you guys to stay safe, even in the Northeast, where flooding could be an issue for you guys over the coming days. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content, and I hope you guys have a good day.